Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your kind introduction and giving me this opportunity today. When I was a medical student, those days, way back in the late 70s and early 80s, we were told that medicine is science. We did the usual thing, physics, chemistry, biology. We studied anatomy. We studied pharmacy. And when we became a doctor, I thought, oh, that's the end of it. Everything is good. I'm a doctor. Then along the way, when, the only thing that we knew those days was inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation, listening to the heart, using the stethoscope. The stethoscope was the invention, the medical equipment. Until one of the days, one of my professors said, he came up to me and said, he pulled the ear plugs and said, this is not important. What is in between this? That's your brain. That's important, yeah? So the stethoscope was the instrument. So over the years, when you study your post-graduation studies, then we saw that introduction of ultrasound, CT scans, MRI, PET scans, all these equipment, sophisticated equipments. So a doctor has to become an engineer, a biomedical engineer, study about engineering and so on. And then we moved on, and now we are talking about technology. We have to study about IT, otherwise you'll be left behind. So the buzzword is digital transformation and all that. But let's not forget, as doctors, we are also an artist because we have to communicate with patients. The skill of communication, talking to patients, empathy, sympathy, and all those things is an art, okay? So medicine can be a science, but the practice of it is an art. And technology is important. It is an enabler, but we cannot replace the human touch. So with that brief introduction, I'd like to share my experience with Damansara Specialist Hospital 2. So I work for the KPJ group, and we have got 29 hospitals. And unlike our competitors or challengers in Malaysia, we are not only placed in major cities, but we are also in smaller cities like Miri, Cebu, smaller towns like Kolapila, Moa, and so on. So we are spread throughout the country. But in the Klang Valley, we have 9 hospitals, and Damansara Specialist Hospital 2 is the 10th hospital within the Klang Valley region. And as I said, apart from Damansara 2, we've got 9 important hospitals within this country region. And what the management and the board felt is, how are we going to pool these resources together? Because we have doctors, even in this Klang Valley of 9 hospitals, we have something like 600 over consultants. And how are we going to work together? How are we going to share our resources in terms of teleradiology, etc.? So they decided that we should build a hospital which will be a smart hospital and link all these 9 other hospitals within Klang Valley. And ultimately, the goal is to link the whole KPJ group, 29 hospitals together, with a single patient, single medical record. So patients can move from one hospital to other seamlessly, with access to all their medical records and so on. So historically, Damansara Hospital has been 25 years in Malaysia. And of course, there was no space for expansion and difficulties in car park and all that. So we decided to embark on a brand new hospital. Not many people will know about Damansara 2 Hospital. It just opened on 1st of September, soft opening. And It is a tertiary level hospital providing all the comprehensive services. We have a team approach. We want to be technology driven, and we have international affiliations with Mayo's and Harvard, and we want to be internationally accredited as well. And the access is, the hospital is located at Sungai Penchala, and the access is a special ramp, that is dedicated ramp that connects the LDP highway right to the hospital. Now, we have been talking about Airbnb 10, 15 years ago. People will say, how dare, do you want to sleep in somebody's stranger's bed? You don't know who has died on the bed. We talked about Uber. Do you dare travel in somebody's stranger's car? Online shopping, can you trust? And then the question now is hospitals without beds, metaphorically speaking. As we all know, with technology, it's not necessary to have a 600 or 700 bedded hospital. Even with a 150 to 200 bedded hospital, you can make as much money or productive. Everything is now connected healthcare. The buzzword is connected healthcare. We coined the word Uberization of medicine, or you can talk about Grabberization of medicine, where hospitals, we want patients to come in, do all the investigations on day 1, do the surgery on day 2, and we want to send the patients home as soon as possible, and then monitor them from their homes. Just a little bit on our plan in Damansara 2, we not only have resident doctors, we place a lot of emphasis on doctors coming as sessional and visiting. And as long as a doctor does minimum of 9 sessions per week, we call them as resident doctors. And we open our clinics from 8 to 12, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 7 days a week. And our lab and our imaging, plus our operation theater, functions from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. as office hours. So we will do office hour care until 9 p.m. because we have a fair number of doctors coming from the university and the government who would like to operate either early morning or after 5 in the evening. So KPJ, we are proud to say that we have been using the electronic medical records for some time, almost 20 years now. We started with a system called KPJ Clinical Information System 1, an Austrian system. And then we moved to KPJ2 about 7 years ago. Then we embarked on a study. PwC did a study, and we felt that KPJ1 and 2, their usefulness has expired. The architecture was not built to take us to the next level in terms of AI, machine learning, IoT, and so on. So we made a brave move to move away from KPJ2 to a new system we call NHIS, or we call it New Hospital Information System. We had about 31 vendors competing for this, and we are proud to say that after a lot of difficult selection procedure, we chose a system called System 1 from TPP. I'm sure you heard from Sir Frank yesterday about this System 1. And I'd like to share some of what we have been doing with Damansara 2 as a pilot project, and how we can then do this to the whole 29 hospitals in KPJ group. We have a fantastic app called AMIT, a patient's app. Anybody can download it. And this app will enable anyone to do online appointment, online registration. It's got a queue management system. So when a doctor sees you and gives you a prescription, you don't have to sit in front of the pharmacy. You can be anywhere, having a cup of coffee, and the alert will be there for you when your turn comes. Patient's feedback is extremely important. We want to learn from our feedback from our patient. The patient is our focus. Everything is about patient's journey, patient's experience. And this app allows patients at every department, not only in the clinic, the pharmacy, the radiology, lab, wards, to give a feedback on how their experience is in 2 languages to start with. We'll move on to 4 languages later. And we have the website incorporated in this app. And so patients can even purchase their wellness screening packages, whatever they want through the app. And the most important thing is all your results, including the images, including the MRI pictures, not just the lab results. Our system enables you to see the X-rays, MRI, CT scans, whatever. Of course, these results won't be loaded to the apps until the doctor has seen the patients. And this is our AirMed app. The Malaysian one is called AirMed Malaysia. Please download it, it's available. And secondly, once our patients come to our clinic, every patient is registered with this AirMed app. So just like the AirMed app, we also have a fantastic app for doctors called Bridget. And whatever we see in our electronic medical record is available in the fingertips with this doctors Bridget app. So doctors can view the latest blood results, can order prescriptions, etc. through this. Even a live CTG or ECGs can be viewed from this. Of course, the total things we have got there, we have introduced the radiology information system, the lab information system, pharmacy module, billing module, and the revenue cycle management system. And this is an example of what TPP System 1 can do. Initially, you feel that you have to put in a lot of data. You have to put in, and if you don't put it in, you don't do it systematically, you can't proceed to the next page. It reminds you, you have forgotten to give this. The reason for this is we want a proper data collection. If you want to do AI, if you want to do IoT, you want to do machine learning, we need proper data. Rubbish in, rubbish out. Garbage in, garbage out. So TPP system allows you to ensure you that you enter all the necessary data. And when you go, if you want to have your search on the patients, either by ward or through the whole hospital, it gives you a simple picture like this, and the blue indicates a male patient, the red indicates a female patient, and all you need to do is click on these bits to get the total information that you want to know about the patient. Okay? So it's a very user-friendly system. And whenever these data are captured, it allows us end of the month to see how many boys, how many girls have been delivered, baby boys. We want to talk about breastfeeding, how many of these patients were breastfed, and then we talk about skin-to-skin contact. We are talking about different modes of delivery, etc. So once you enter all this data at the end of the month, we can get all these details. We can also have a look at the expected number of admissions, discharges, how many patients in the medical, surgical, and so on. And all this data is available in the fingertips. We also want to encompass some other features in this NHIS system. One is the internal path finder, where the system will allow you to guide you to the car park. And once you are in the hospital, if I say go to the lab or go to the ward, the internal pathway, similar to a Waze, will guide you to where you need to go. Okay? And we have electronic display of doctor's profile in each clinic because we have an open system. We want as many doctors as possible to use the clinic. We follow the standards of a sort of an airlines where the plane does not belong to the pilot. So once the pilot's duty is over, the next pilot takes over. So the maximum utilization of the clinic, whether it's morning, afternoon, or even at night. So doctors don't own the clinic. They rent the sessions, even the resident doctors. So once a resident doctor has finished his job, a sessional doctor can use his clinic. Okay, so the electronic display of the doctor's names and qualifications is very important. We can do OT booking online, not only from Damansara to hospitals, from any of our sister hospitals and any of the doctors in the government or in the universities who are part of the team. They'll be given access to book OT online. And the day of operation, day of surgery, they can actually see the real-time movement of cases because of the color coding. If it's green, the patient is still in the OT, a different color for patient in the OT premises, one color for the patient still in the ward. If it's red, the patient is discharged, cancelled, and so on. And this is a typical example of a clinics with the electronic display, which is very, very important because we have gone away from the clinic belonging to the doctor. It keeps changing, okay? So whether it's a daytime or afternoon session or a night session, the clinic keeps changing. Patients will be able to view their current billing online through their apps. They can make orders for their dietary requirement, okay? And we have 4 or 5 outlets within the hospital. Patients can order food from the Dome or Starbucks through their apps. We have another interesting concept called a GP portal. For one, I'm also guilty. About 50-60% of we doctors, after we get busy, we don't even bother to reply to the GP. And patients get lost, GPs get lost. So we have a system now we will be introducing very soon. Every GP who is keen to be part of our system, we will load this system. We will give the link for our patients to load the TPP system 1 in their computer, and they will be able to refer patients to us online. Okay? Make an appointment, refer the patients. And once the patient is in the hospital, they should be able to follow the patient's journey. The patient has gone to the lab, patient had MRI, and all these results will be automatically loaded to the GP, access to the GP. And it's outpatient, the prescription will be there, and the discharge summary will automatically go to the GP. If the patient is admitted, gone to OT, had an appendectomy, and then goes to the ward, a discharge summary, the whole journey can be followed up by the GP. So there's a continuum of care. We want to be partners with the GP, and we don't want to hold on to cases like simple diabetes or hypertension or cases like this which have been referred to us. We want to send back these patients to the GPs. So there is sort of a shared care. And we want our GPs to be part and parcel of this total healthcare delivery system. And we are also introducing a new the integrated data exchange analytical system for insurance processing. Liam has endorsed this product. This comes from Sensi Berhad, called Ideas, which has integrated AIA, Prudential, Great Eastern, and many other insurance companies along with TPPs. So with this system, instead of waiting for 3 to 4 hours for a GL clearance, we should cut down the time to 30 minutes. And we will be the first hospital in the country and probably the first group, KPJ, to introduce this system for facilitating insurance and third-party claims. Okay, we don't want our patients to wait too long. Along with these things, we are of course talking about teleconferences, telemedicine, and all those things which are incorporated. The other thing that we want to do in our hospital is that we have embarked on a heavy investment in our operation theaters. And what we have is called digital OT. We have installed this in the cardiac OT as well as the neuro OT. And what does this do? It allows flexible integration of the hardware, the software, the video sources, and patient data. It's a sort of a centralized control and overview of integrated devices on a single user interface. Slick integration of third-party softwares, central interface between HIS, PACS, and we can integrate whether it's a PET scan or a CT scan or MRI into a 3D imaging, as well as for doctors to do 3D printing, to practice surgeries on them, and enhance, edit, reconstruct the patient's anatomy from all these different imaging, from CT or MRI or PET scan and so on. And of course, we also want EC documentation, addition of video recording after surgery, teaching purposes, and we can do a lot of live access or OR streaming and conferencing from teaching purposes, so on. This is an example of how the 3D imaging can be created, also on the brain. So these are some other things. So what do you define as a smart hospital? Of course, we want to have an interconnected clinical information system. We got that in place, a good hospital information system, lab, radiology, PACS. And we have got a remote care system. Patients can use their own devices to send data, even through the apps, to the AMID app. Using the AMID app, patients will be able to record their own blood pressure, glucose levels, and so on. We've got a networked medical devices. And of course, we are fortunate that Damansara 2 is located in a 5G capability, so we will be using 5G technology as one of the first few hospitals in the country to use this technology. We've got biometric scanners, green technology, so on. And we are proud to introduce certain gadgets which are first in this country. One of them, we call it a smart patient, we call it a smart patient experience tablet. So this is, as you can see here, it can double up. If I can show you here, it doubles up as a table for patient to eat. It doubles up as a TV for you to watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever. And it doubles up as a computer for us to show patients the blood results, imaging, and so on. So this is something which is very new to us, and we have introduced this in Damansara Specialist Hospital. Along with that, we have got smart glasses, wearables, where it acts as a voice, video, as well as a data transmitter. So patients in the OT are doctors using this with a link, doctors from any part of the country, or even within the KPJ group, or in a same hospital, different KPJ hospital, or any doctors from anywhere will be able to view what the surgeon is doing, and they can give some through telecommunications, telemedicine, give advice on what surgery or what should they do and so on. So these are some of the wearables that we have introduced in Damansara 2. So ultimately, we want to develop a super app, and this will, just like our previous speaker was mentioning, we would like to incorporate, it's no more the business of brick and mortar. We want to move to the next phase where patients will benefit, because we have hospitals scattered all over the country. We have hospitals in Sabah, Sarawak, remote areas. And so we want to introduce home nursing, rehab services, digital pathology, teleradiology, second opinions, pharmacy, nursing procedures, so on. This is the vision of KPJ to go to the next level. And very soon we will be introducing this super app, just like AirAsia has introduced this super app. So before I finish, I'd like to just give you some images of our new hospital. This is a transformation journey for KPJ. We are using Damansara 2 as a pilot study, and we will then replicate this to the whole KPJ group so that we have a single patient, single record. Patients can move from one hospital to another. And hopefully, if the government decides to use similar system in the government, the Ministry of Health, then KPJ will be the first hospital that can link with the government Ministry of Health records. So this, just before I end, I just want to show a few images of our new hospital, which I would invite any one of you to come over. It's not just theory, it's practice. We are focused on patient's journey, patient's experience, clinical outcomes. We want to embark on AI. We want to embark on research, teaching, and we want to create a different hospital. And we want to transform KPJ and take KPJ to the next level. And I must thank our TPP partners, and we don't consider them as our vendors. We consider them as our partners. We don't consider this as a HIS system. We call this a transformation journey. We are not just a HIS or going on to a new system. We want to transform ourselves, and we consider this as a transformation journey and change the healthcare delivery system in Malaysia. And KPJ now intends to take a lead, and this is only possible with our partners. TPP, thank you so much. I think we chose the right system, and we already started using the system. It's just the beginning. It's not, it's a journey, and I hope all of us will take us to the next level. Some of the images here. We are green, a lot of green in our hospital. And with that, I thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.